cold mass emailing works. You are just doing it wrong. Hello everybody. This week we will talk about mass email marketing in 2023. This is an important topic because a lot of B2B businesses and a lot of agencies still do not do cold email marketing. There are people who say this is spam. There are people who are scared to do it because their domains will get blocked. There are business owners who only believe in opt-in email outreach, and all of these business owners are leaving millions of dollars on the table. Now, Eren, we've executed some projects in the past few months, and there are basically different types of email campaigns that we send out. What are the top email executions that we have done in the past few months?
So there are 3 types of email campaigns that we execute. 1, active campaign. 2, personalized outreach emails. And 3, mass cold email outreach. Duran, you are more involved in this process, so why don't you tell us more about this?
All right, so this is actually pretty exciting. This is pretty nerdy, and I love this stuff because we've been able to see the results of this. We've made millions of dollars from cold email outreach. And the first process is opt-in emails. We use ActiveCampaign and Autopilot app for this. It's basically visitors and prospects who click on the lead magnets that we have, and they opt in to get some sort of value that we promise them. This could be an audit, this could be a white paper, it could be a checklist, it could be a case study, it could be an ebook. The possibilities for lead magnets are endless. One of the first companies that started doing this was actually HubSpot. They did a great job, and this is how they were able to grow so fast. So we have about maybe 20,000 people in our ActiveCampaign lists, all segmented. So if somebody's looking for e-commerce SEO services, they go to that segment. If somebody's looking for BigCommerce and Shopify custom functionalities, they go to that segment. And we have flows that are set up on these emails. Basically, when you request the lead magnet, the first email is going to give you the lead magnet, which is the ebook or the white paper. And then we are going to nurture you with emails forever. We will never stop sending emails to you with a lot of value unless you opt out, unless you unsubscribe. This entire process has a double opt-in beginning. This is what everybody out there does, but it is not enough. That's why we also do number 2, which is personalized outreach emails. If you are a B2B business or an e-commerce business and you have not nailed down your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile, you're going to have challenges with cold outreach. You're going to have challenges with your marketing. So for us, we work with BigCommerce and Shopify business owners. So our ICP is anybody that's on the BigCommerce or Shopify platform that does between $5 million and $250 million in annual revenue. Now, personalized means personalized. The trick is you cannot send the same outreach email that you send to the CEO of a $10 million e-commerce business and then send the same outreach email to a CEO that runs a $100 million e-commerce business. They have different priorities. They have different objectives. They have different growth plans. This is what the personalized outreach email process takes care of. We use Lemlist and Woodpecker as tools to outreach to people. There are at least 8 email cadences, 8 email follow-ups. The first and the second emails are hyper-personalized. I know which college you went to. I know which sports you're into. I know what you're passionate about in life. And thanks to crystalknows.com, I also know your personality. Now, some of the tools that I've mentioned in this process can be incredibly effective. If you're into soccer and you graduated from NYU and I send you an email and the first sentence literally mentions that, you are 6 times more likely to respond to me than if I send you a generic email that says, I hope this finds you well. Imagine getting a personalized email that does not find you well. Those are the types of emails that will convert. Now, number 2 with personalized emails is not going to get you 100 responses. But if you're able to get prospectors, and if you can send 1,000 emails per week, that's 4,000 emails per month, and you can scale in that manner, I can guarantee you that that is hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional revenue, if not millions for you, that you would not otherwise get. And the third level of execution is cold mass email marketing. This is a process where we warm up an IP from Mailgun, And there are so many different steps to this. It's a little bit nerdy, as I stated before, but it allows you to send hundreds of thousands of emails, sometimes millions on a monthly basis, and fall in the inbox and not in the spam folder. So now, Aaron, number 3 is pretty advanced. Number 1 and number 2, they're straightforward. Everybody's doing number 1. 99% of people are not doing number 2.
Yeah.
And I think that 99.9999% of people do not do number 3, which is the cold mass email marketing.
Yeah.
Give us the steps of what is important when we are executing number 3.
So it needs to be an existing domain. The email account needs to already exist.
And the reason for this is if you just register a new domain name, or if you just started using an email address, the domain name and the email address, they do not have history. And ISPs, especially Google, Microsoft Bing, and Yahoo, see that these are new domain names or new email addresses that do not have a history.
And then you need to validate to make sure that these domains are not blacklisted.
And then to validate the domain name, you can go to this tool called mxtoolbox.com, click on the blacklist link, enter your domain name or your IP address, and it will tell you if your domain name is blacklisted or not. You cannot send mass emails from a blacklisted domain. The other functionality that you should probably look at is go to Google, type age of domain, type in your domain name or .com or .net address, and see what the age of that domain is. It needs to be at least 3 years old. What's the next step, Aaron?
And then you create a new Mailgun account for every new domain and obtain a new IP address.
Getting a dedicated IP address from Mailgun can be tricky. You have to request it through a ticket. You have to say, I want a dedicated IP address. And the reason that you want a dedicated IP address is because if you use a shared IP address with other domains that might also be sending thousands of emails, you're still going to be blacklisted because the IP is shared. So you need a dedicated IP address. And Mailgun is going to respond to that ticket and say, what are you going to use it for? Are these all opt-in? Where do you obtain these email addresses from? And of course, you're going to say, these are all opt-in, and I only send opt-in emails. That's the only way they will give you this dedicated IP address. Once you get the IP address, you're going to request that they start warm up on it. They usually automatically do so. So what's happening now is you're sending out your emails. You control the domain name that it goes out from. You control the IP address that it goes out from. It is your dedicated IP address. You're warming up this IP address. So you fully control if your email is going to the inbox or not. Again, 99.9999% of people who send emails, they don't have this set up. So you're relying on MailChimp or Constant Contact, and you're hoping that your emails are going into the inbox. So Aaron, what is the next technical step that's a little bit nerdy?
Well, you have to open up your domain registering information. If you're using GoDaddy, this is really easy. And then you need to configure your DNS settings on GoDaddy and match it with Mailgun servers. This includes DMARC records and SPF records. And these records make sure that you don't fall into the spam folder.
So DMARC and SPF records are extremely important. Again, majority of domain names do not have these records. So when you send an email address, the ISP thinks that you might be spoofing. And we've all experienced this. Sometimes you get an email and the email comes from your email. It's like if my email is duran@optimum7.com, I get an email from duran@optimum7.com. How can somebody send an email like that? Because you do not have those records in your DNS settings in your domain. Now, once you do all of this, Mailgun is a great tool, but Mailgun does not really have a good UI client. What that means is it's not like MailChimp or Constant Contact. You don't have a login that you can go to and you can define your HTML and your email templates, select the lists and send. They have one, but it sucks. And this is where Mailem.io comes into place. So what does Mailem.io do, Eren?
So basically, Mailem is the only and the best email client for Mailgun. It allows you to drip email campaigns, test your emails for spam, validate all the email addresses that are in your segmented lists, and gives you reporting on deliverability.
So disclaimer here, Optimum 7 owns Mailem.io. And the reason that we started this process and the reason that we actually created this tool is because we loved the deliverability aspect of Mailgun, but there was no Mailgun client that could do all these things. So we built Mailem.io to enable us to send millions and millions of emails that all go into the inbox folder. Now, getting a little bit nerdier, talk to us about Warmy.io.
So Warmy.io allows you to warm up your email addresses specifically to certain topics. It can send up to 1,000 bogus emails per day. And basically, it's showing the ISPs that your emails are active and running. And most importantly, it lets you know if you're going to the inbox or the spam.
Why is that important, Eren?
Because you want to keep your deliverability as high as possible. Also, you don't want to waste millions of emails if they're all just going to go to spam.
As Eren explained, the most important thing about WarMe is that it gives you visibility into your entire campaign. And this visibility makes the difference between your campaign working and you making millions of dollars, or you wasting a bunch of time, thousands of dollars, millions of emails, and never falling into the inbox folder. This is what 99.9% of businesses do out there. They send these cold emails, they go to spam, they get blacklisted, and they are basically like, this doesn't work. No, the process works. Cold mass emailing works. You are just doing it wrong. The rest is history. You pick your email lists. You can get email lists from tools like builtwith.com, or perhaps you use something like seamless.com. You want to send emails to all the big commerce business owners? Get the list. Shopify business owners? Get the list. B2B buyers and purchasing managers? Get the list. It really depends on what your ideal customer profile states. You have all these emails. You validate it through Mailem.io. You test it through Mailem.io. You already turned on your warme.io so that it warms up these email addresses. I would let that running for about a few weeks and continue to run. This entire process, by the way, the setup is going to cost you about $1,000. And on a monthly basis, you're going to pay $500 to $750 for these tools. But in return, the potential is that you make millions of dollars. You get thousands of clicks. A cost per click for AdWords at the bottom funnel will cost you anywhere from $7 to $150. And imagine that you get thousands of people to your site from these cold email outreach efforts. It gives you multiples on your ROAS. Now, the last step of this, which I love, when you get these clicks, it doesn't mean that these specific customers or these prospects are ready to do business with you. So you have to have all of your retargeting pixels set up, and you need to be retargeting to your existing website visitors. Not only that, there are these tools called Lead Feeder and Clearbit that will tell you who is on your website, even if they do not contact you. So if you're going to go through all this effort and send out all these emails, you want to get as much information as possible on your website traffic details, especially if you're a B2B business. Any last comments, Eren?
Make sure that you follow this process to the T, or it will not work.
That's it for this week. This is a pretty intense and pretty detailed process. So if you have any questions or any help, do not hesitate to contact us. We'll speak to you next week.
Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos on e-commerce, custom development, marketing, and much more. And leave us a comment if you'd like to discuss the contents of this video further.